We're in the basement.
We are. Tuesday afternoon.
Tuesday
Night.
afternoon, evening, night.
Evening.
Some people, from Hawaii or Switzerland or whatever, it might be in varying time zones.
Right.
I know you got fans all over the world.
Oh yeah.
You got them in different area codes, that's for sure.
Different area codes. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, got them in different area codes. Right on. Ricky's coming in saying good evening. Thank you, Ricky. We appreciate it. We're going to let some guys filter in, guys and girls filter in here. We got some show notes over there.
Yeah.
We got some.
We got a big episode tonight.
We do. We love to do demos, and of course, we're gonna do demos tonight. We're also gonna introduce some new products and such. And
One of the biggest products we've probably launched, I would say.
in a while.
In a while, yeah.
In a while.
As far as equipment goes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would consider this somewhere up there around hand wrapper status.
Pretty close to it.
I mean, and we all know what the hand wrapper's done. So it's been awesome. Been awesome for sure. So cool. We got some people. Coming in. We're gonna do, as always, we're gonna do some giveaways.
Big giveaway tonight, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What you got?
Yeah,
What you got?
I can't tell you just yet.
Can't tell me yet.
I can tell you how to do it, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet.
Oh. Okay, cool. I like it.
It's the same deal. Like and share.
Yeah,
Like and share the live feed, the post,
as always.
and that will get you entered to win. Tag a couple friends that might give you a couple extra bonus points.
Absolutely.
We always hint.
Yep.
We always look as we're scrolling down through there. If you tag a couple buddies, and especially if they joined in,
Get some brown.
More love.
Points.
Brownie
Bing, bing,
points.
bing, bing, bing. So yeah. So how was your week? Pretty good.
it was good.
Not too bad.
Just started off, so I did a little fishing this weekend.
Nice.
No, you just got back from a trip, didn't you?
I did. Shooting out in LA. Big movie deal.
Hollywood.
We did some little fishing and stuff in Anna Maria. So I know we've got some customers over in Tampa, St. Pete, Anna Maria, Naples, that whole area. So it was gorgeous. I love that. My first time in.
Yeah.
So it was great. But all right, we got some people filtering in. We are going to talk about not only the new RBS-Pro Power Wrapper, but we're going to talk about the RBS, just the whole system.
The system.
We've got it all. I'm just going to lay it out
That's
there.
what it stands for. Rod Building System. RBS.
Man, I'm telling you
Boom.
what. Exactly. We keep it easy for us, here. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to do a few demos. We're going to show you a few little tricks and things that is going to be in here. So you want to get this started?
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission.
Time for the big one.
And we're back.
We are back, and it is time for the big one. Why don't you give us an overview of what I have here before me?
The system. Well, this is part of the system.
Right.
And I'll start with what's best about this whole system is you can start from the bottom, which is the hand wrapper.
Okay.
It kind of all, even though we have, all kinds of tools that go along with the system,
Right.
It all comes back to kind of where you start with.
Nice.
I think there was a song about that. at
I
one
think
point.
so. Yeah.
So the hand wrapper, the HWS, which we come out with several years ago. And what most rod builders get into first off is hand wrapping. So
Right.
they go, and even our most popular kit, our FSB2 startup kit, has the hand wrapper in it. And so, even people that started a couple of years ago and still have this hand wrapper can kind of like escalate their rod building and improve it, and you can, build up your equipment.
Well, it's like a natural progression, right? So, I still wrap on the hand wrapper. And it's a thing that, I started with, and, I have added pieces and parts of this system throughout. But I'm telling you, the HWS one, I know a lot of people here love it. I use it still exclusively. And, that's, like you said, that is kind of the starting point where where everything has been centered around,
Right.
just because it's such an important piece.
It really is. And once you have that, people that have had, like I said, for a couple of years, have the HWS, can now upgrade. And you can go from, hand wrapper, you can buy the bases separately.
Right.
You can buy, of course, now we have the RBS Pro.
Right.
Previously we had the Power Head.
Right.
Which was, just a little bit lesser, step down from this really upgraded,
Right.
this chuck, we could say.
Yeah, but it allowed you to do things with the track, with the hand wrapper, and incorporate some power into it.
Right.
And allowed you to kind of expand a little bit.
Yeah.
While we were working on this item.
But the RBS system is modular. So, like we said, you start with the HWS, and you can slowly build and build. And once you start building more rods, and you actually want to step up to power wrapping, you can buy the bases, extra bases. You can buy the RBS Pro, or what we had before, the Power Head.
For sure.
And then, of course, we have all these add-ons too that we can integrate onto this track system, which is very unique. Where it might be a triple tape dispenser, the spine finder. All of these pieces of equipment will actually fit onto these tracks.
Right. Well, there's a lot of thought that went into this whole system. This wasn't just kind of a willy-nilly deal. And it was anchored around the HWS starting, and then now we have this base system, which can be expanded out to somebody that wants to build a 15-foot. Surf rod or something like that, or guys that want to do gaff work, or they want to do something like that. So you're getting, when you buy this track, you're getting a 33-inch section. You want to grab one of those sections. So you're getting a 33-inch section of this aluminum base, and it's really important because you've got these grooves that run through here, and they allow for rollers to be put on the bottom of all the CRB equipment, whether it's a hand wrapper, whether it's a tool caddy or something like that. Then you also have a center line here. The center line can accept a T-bolt, so it's one of those situations where this piece here, this rod stand, is actually, technically it's bolted, but it's not a through bolt, so you can actually take and turn that T-bolt, and then you can slide it down, and then you can turn the bolt again, and it will grab, and then you just wing nut it down. So, moving up and going through this whole system, it kind of, this is the base, right? And then these little holes all in the edges, they serve a dual purpose.
Right.
Those holes are not only for now the RBS Pro Power Wrapper, they bolt and match up to those, but those are also the holes that you're going to use for the slats that you can go through and add on sections and sections and sections at a time. So, and as we go through this whole thing, we had to think, well, we don't want the people at home that already have a hand wrapper to then have to buy another hand wrapper just because it comes in a kit.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of kits coming out. There's already kits that have come out, and we don't want it to be confusing. It's going to be more like you're putting a puzzle together, and you're going to be substituting in pieces that you have or you don't have or you want to get, and then you want the track, but you already have the hand wrapper, and then you want the power head, but you don't have a tape dispenser. And so there's going to be all of this. You're going to see a lot of kits, but it's more or less because we don't know what you have at home, and we don't want you double and triple buying just because you want 7 or 8 tools, and then all of a sudden you've got a now you have 2 hand wrappers.
Exactly. No, that's a good point, because I know a lot of our sales reps up front get this question all the time. They want to make that, either they're initially getting into rod building, they want to make a big step to a power wrapper, or maybe they already have a hand wrapper, either like a wooden hand wrapper or something that they previously bought, and they want to make an upgrade. You can start very simple and upgrade your way the whole,
For sure.
to having a full-on power wrapper, rather than either just jumping right into it, or even if you have something that's older and you have to spend more money for no reason. So.
Right, exactly. So, all right. So, what is this guy going to run me if I want the RBS Pro Power Wrapper?
$230.
Okay.
$229.95.
Okay.
Is what we got at right now.
Awesome. So for $230, we got this, and what all comes with it, and how
Well, the best thing is we've actually, a lot of systems out there, only come with like basically one speed. Now some have rheostats, they have an adjustment knob and so forth. The really great thing about this is that we've actually integrated 2 pulleys for your shaft itself and then also on the motor.
Okay.
So, and we have 2 belts.
Right.
We have just the standard pulley that you've probably seen on a power wrapper before.
Yep.
got
Which that's just a standard round belt.
Basically.
That's just a belt that's kind of your everyday, will get the job done for your light, what I would consider light duty stuff, right?
Exactly. Everyday wrapping. It just does the job, and especially at high speeds too. If you are wrapping very fast,
right?
It's got a little more give, so it's not going to wear out as fast,
right?
So that's perfect for everyday, how we said, everyday power wrapping, usage you want to do. Now we also comes with this system or this power wrapper,
right?
Is the heavy duty belt.
Okay.
So if you're doing, say you're turning down some custom cork grips,
right?
Or any kind of heavy duty use, you want to switch to this belt.
Okay, and it's a V-cut belt, and it is more like a fiber belt than a true solid rubber belt.
Exactly.
Just in the system, we found as testing all of these that the fiber belt does a better job of giving you that extra kind of heavy-duty application with a little bit of forgiveness kind of in there. If you sometimes if you get a belt that's too rubbery, it almost wants to grab. And the great thing about this system too is, so for those that get our flyer here, we do have, and also on the website, we do have where we've mapped where when you line these different pulley systems up, you're going to get your large and small on the headstock, you're going to get a large and small on the motor pulley, and that gives you, we have included gear ratios, we have included max RPMs, and we have a recommendation that says, we suggest using this when using it as a lathe application and doing things like that. So on page 39 of the flyer here, we also have it on the website, and what that's going to do is that's going to kind of give you a guide on, well, how do I use this, how do I use that? The great part about this as well, and I thought I had one off the track. Did I set it over there?
Stand?
One of these guys. No, the power head off the track. Oh, Guffey, I set it by my desk. Would you grab that for me? So, obviously we've got it mounted on the track here, and then we've got, Guffey's going to show one here, because this unit is adjustable. And when you're using different pulleys and you want to go from a small to a large or large to a small, they're not lined up out of the box. They are lined up out of the box to be outside to outside and inside to inside. Those are perfectly lined up. So here's what it looks like before you get it out of the box.
Got it.
Thanks, Guff. All right, so if you look on the bottom here, we've got adjustments where this motor, you can back these Allen keys out here. This will actually allow you to take this motor and slide it in and slide it out. So there is some travel which allows you to adjust, when you're lining this up. Because as you use this a lot and you want to maybe use this large pulley on this large pulley, you want to bring them in line, and really, really quickly you can adjust that and get it in there. So you can also, depending on how your belts, if the belts are wearing, or if you want to snug them up a little bit, we also allow for that adjustment here on the outside. So not only can the motor come in and out, the motor can also come up and down like that. So we do have it tuned, out of the box to be flush outside to outside and inside to inside. So we've got that flush, so you can, throw your belts on and just let her go and use it right out of the box. But, we don't want a system that, it's one of those deals that there was a question about there's a wooden hand wrapper that's out there, those kinds of systems that you buy it and you only have that one.
Right.
And you can't, I wouldn't say you can't do a whole lot with it, but one, it doesnit allow you to grow, right? And two, this is going to allow, it's going to allow you to adjust a little bit for as you're using it. And, let's say, the belts get a little bit looser, you want to tighten some stuff up. as a rod builder, right, we're naturally good with our hands and tinkering and doing that stuff. So we certainly don't want to get something that's like, oh, well, that piece wore out, so you got to buy a whole new hand.
Right.
There always needs to be some adjustment in all of these mechanical moving parts. And, we have that. We've allowed for those pieces and parts to be adjusted and fine-tuned and all that, because I know I'm bad about that. I like it to be just so, and I like it to be, whatever. So we allow for all that. And that's where something like this outshines, some of those other wrappers out there.
Yeah. You want to hit a couple questions real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
You answered Kurt's question.
Yep.
Is this a much better system than a flex coat wooden system?
Yep.
Just answered that one, so we'll take that off. Why don't power wrappers have a reverse for when you miswrap at the end of a 7 or 8 foot rod? You might want to correct me on this, but I believe most of the motors, whether it be this or other power wrappers that are out there, they only spin one way. You can't go the opposite way. It is what it is. But typically, these systems work, especially with our hand wrapper, work with a tension system. So even if you do spin that backwards and, the tension's still there, so your spool, your thread, it stays put, it's still tight enough, that way it's not just going to go everywhere.
Right.
So,
well, and I think obviously there's a bunch of different motors out there, and we have run through them. That we have, for example, on our rod drying system, where you can grab the chuck and let it flip over and reverse. All these different motors, the way that they're manufactured, and they're all a little different, right? Me personally, I am not a motors expert by any stretch. But when we were toying around with giving people the option of power wrapping forwards and power wrapping backwards, there were some suggestions thrown around that having it being reversible, I personally didn't want it reversible, because if I make a mistake going quickly one direction, I feel like I'm going to compound that mistake going quickly in the reverse direction. Because the great thing about the hand wrapper is, you've got this tension rod, and that's why, I love it so much, because it gives you a certain amount of travel here when you can spin it forward and then you can spin it backwards.
Right.
Okay? So it also holds everything tightly. So, if I'm here wrapping and I need to get, another glass of water, I can let go of everything. I can go and get another glass of water, and then I can come back, and we're going to be able to, everything's there. If we let this thing go, it doesn't just go haywire on us.
Right.
So because there's a certain amount of travel there. Now, and I think to touch on a little bit about the, forward and backward situation here, just because it power wraps like this one direction, right? Just because we can power wrap doesn't mean that I can't stop it and back it up. This is not a geared situation here. So this isn't like, teeth and it only operates one direction and there's not a neutral. Right. So anytime this thing is spinning, it's spinning, but anytime it's stopped, it's in neutral, whether this belt is attached or not. So for me, if I am going to be operating and power wrapping, and going and going and going, and I make a mistake, as soon as I let this off, I can then take it and back it without, the last thing I want to do is flip a switch, and she's going 700 this way, and I flip a switch, and she comes 700 this way, and the next thing you know, I'm wrapped up in this thing.
Right.
So just because that we cannot flip a switch and run that power backwards doesn't mean you can't just stop it, or you can't grab that rod and let it stop spinning, of course, but just backpedal it a little bit, and then you have some travel here with this tension rod. So that is, I know that's kind of a long answer to a shorter question, but that's why we do all this. Yeah. So John, this hand wrapper we have aluminum, and we've also got sealed bearings inside of this head, and it's all going to match up to this aluminum base. So, that's what we've got her made out of, and it's heavy duty. Without a doubt, it's heavy duty. I don't know what the weight is on this thing, but it's not light. Yeah. And I don't mean that in a bad way, like, you can't tote this thing around, but it's not something that, you know, you have to bolt this to your desk to operate because it doesn't weigh anything, and then the forces when this motor's spinning or something is going to walk it all over the table. No, that's really not the case. I mean, this, you know, if I was doing a lot where I would have it in a fixed position, yeah, I'd probably go ahead and mount it or put some sticky pads on the bottom of it so it doesn't slide. But it's heavy, you know. It's not just something that's really, really light. So, Patrick, any chance for a cover when this bad boy, when it's not in use? Patrick, what I do is when we were testing this, and you know, we would then put finish on rods and do things like that, because you can actually take this and slide in on RDS with a T-bolt. So that same T-bolt that grabs, and that's the T-bolt that's holding this stand. So I mean, this is, it's there. It's not going anywhere. That T-bolt is a great attachment. You can actually bring this in and T-bolt one of the RDSs that we've got over there, slide her in, put her in there. You know, your rod stands are here. You can actually just turn the rod around depending on how much room you've got here, and then put your RDS at the other end, just T-bolt it on, lock her in. Then what I would do is when I cover everything, that's a good time to bring the tent out. You know, not only is the tent that we've got over here in the corner.
Yeah,
you want to show the old tent?
Yeah, grab that real quick.
Yep, got it. So here's the RDS, obviously. This is kind of the staple system for drying. You can bring her in, and just like all the other ones, she will T-bolt right here to this track. And then for me, if I'm going to be doing that, whether I am going to cover everything, you know, all this stuff will fit all on this track. I would probably just bring it all in, set it there, and I would just dump the tent on it. The tent fits right over this whole track system. I'd put the tent on. Obviously, this is only just one half of the tent, right? I just put the tent on it and then walk away. So, no, we don't just have a cover for the power head, but you know, I would use the tent. It allows you to cover multiples there. Corey, can those motors be added to the Pack Bay platform?
The answer to that is no.
Right.
But we are working on an adapter right now.
Yep.
As we're speaking, probably.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's going to be available very, very soon.
Yeah, so, you know, for the guys that have that, I mean, granted, we make our own systems, and because we put a lot of thought into these and a lot of work, but, you know, for those that do have another system out there on the market, we don't want you to completely be shut into the dark. So we're constantly making adapters for our parts to fit on other things, and, you know, it's the right thing to do, right? You know, and it makes your rod building experience that much better. So, and that's why we do this, you know. I mean, yeah, you know, this is, I mean, we signed like, what, $2.5 million over the next 3 seasons or something like that?
At least.
Probably that. So, you know, we're big money guys for this, right?
That was a tough negotiation.
It was. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you're not getting Johnny Manziel here. You're getting the deal. So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing this to help you guys out. And we like to try to be funny, even though we're not.
All right, next question.
That's it. Moving on.
Do you have any new rod holders and wrapper that will allow to move down the rod without having to move the rod holders? Maybe you mean the thread carriage? Is that what you're getting out of it?
I think so. I think any new rod holders and wrapper that will allow you to move down the rod without having to move down the rod holder.
Maybe move down the track without having to move the rod holders or the carriage?
I think so.
We'll go with that.
I think so, because obviously right now the HWS-1 will not slide beyond tracks.
Right. What you can do, though, and we've done
Well, of course we have a carriage coming.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
Right.
in the meantime,
Yeah.
if you want to, you can actually, instead of having these two, you'll notice underneath these are they're roller bearings.
Right.
You can, you know, so having 2 on here, you can move this thread carriage to one of the outside tracks.
Right.
So where you just have one single line of bearings.
Correct.
And you can use it that way too.
And it would get out of the way of this. Now, I will say though, as you move down the rod, or as you move down the track, this does not have to come completely off, right? So you don't have to take, and of course, so that T-bolt right there, you can see it gives a little deal where you can set this down, you can turn it and tighten it, and you're good to go. you can then loosen the wing nut, twist it, and it comes out. So you don't then have to take this and go all the way down. You know, you got 9 foot of track system or 8 feet of track system. You don't have to run this all the way down. You can take it, move it, pick it up, slide it over. And especially if you've got, you know, if you're doing some heavier duty work where you want extra supports in places, I would make sure that I have it in multiple locations rather than, then we can just put it back that easy. So that's the only thing. You know, you can twist it, lock it, move it on. Is there going to be some new designs for spool holders and tensioners? Let's see. My aftermarket one is Super Pro, but only made one person, very limited. Patrick, we do have a new thread carriage coming. So that is going to be something that is going to be multiple spools. It's going to be a different tensioner system. It is going to be where you can use the HWS one, or we're going to have a thread carriage system where you can add a bunch of other spools of thread, different sizes, larger spools. You can slide it up and down, and we're going to have a different tensioner system. So, and that's just because this thing can spin. It can move itself.
It can, yeah.
Pretty good. So, I think we missed. Somebody asked about shaping grips.
I think we should dive into that.
Yeah. Why don't we jump there? So, appreciate all the questions. I'm going to show this here real quick. So we've got our mandrel. The mandrel's the what is this? The RM18.
SM. SM18, and that's going to be your 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch. The reason we've got SM18 1/4 inch, this fly grip, as with most cork, is a 1/4 inch. And what we've got going on here is, in the power head, we have 2 different style jaws, okay? We've got a jaw that looks like this, and we've got a jaw that looks like this. How we doing, Guffey? You on me there, Bubba? All right, this one here has more of a concave kind of build to it, and it's for larger OD blanks, saltwater blanks, things like that. This one has more of a convex, and it actually does a little bit more of a pinching grab, and it will grab stuff all the way down to a 250. So these are interchangeable in and out. Now, to interchange these in and out, actually, let me do this first. So we've got handle turning. We're going to chuck this bad boy in here. That will come down to 1/4 inch. We always recommend using our hair bands here. We are then going to, you know, you can pull your sandpaper out depending on how you want to cut it. Your settings out here, you know, again, we can change those based on what kind of heavy duty, light duty work we're doing. And then, as always, safety first and then teamwork. So we've got this, we'll get her spinning, and we can come in here and we can shape and go at it. Now, this grip is not glued to this mandrel, it's not taped to this mandrel, so it does spin inside of it. That was just for kind of demonstration purposes only. What I do is, obviously, you know, if you're gluing cork rings on here, you glue ring by ring, and then it's locked on there. And then, of course, we do have these little collars that tighten down. I didn't tighten them down because, again, we're just showing. So you can tighten them down, lock them in there. This one also has a recess, so it was hard to get to, but we just wanted to show it for demo purposes. So now we've got the little kind of chuck jaws here that will grab the 250. What we're going to do is I'm going to take this is a 3/32, right?
I believe so.
Or a 2.5. And I'm going to send these little guys out here. So that slides right off. And then you're left with a little washer and then the little Allen head on here. And then all we're going to do is line her back up, and we're going to slide her back on. It's that easy. And you don't need to over tighten her, you just put her in there and let her go. So I'll do each one of these, and then I'll show you with a bigger blank. So, got any other questions? No? Everybody is
no questions.
Enthralled in my...
Don't forget about the giveaway. This is actually going to be our largest giveaway to date. $140 value.
Tell them.
I believe it's going to be an RBS kit 2.
Okay.
Quote me if I'm wrong on that, or correct me.
I was gonna say, quote you if you're wrong.
Quote me. Or
We're gonna,
correct me.
yeah, we'll let you know
let's,
if you're wrong. Trust me.
Let's get a little insight on that one.
Okay.
But I believe it's a hand wrapper and a RBS base
Okay.
in one.
Okay.
One kit. And to get entered in that giveaway, all you have to do is like and share the post as usual. Same gig we always do.
Same gig, liking and sharing.
Same gig, different
Cool.
day.
That's it. All right, so let me get these guys back on here. All right. Okay. So we're switched out. We're good to go there. Let's get a larger size blank. Which one did I have in there?
Yeah, that short piece.
It's a white one? Is that the one I had?
What about this one?
This guy?
Can we do this one?
Yeah, we can do that one. So we've got just a larger OD in there. She'll check it right down. And that is, you know, if you've got a little bit larger blank in here, working with saltwater stuff, or, you know, if you're working with blanks that I typically do assemble the handle before I go any farther. So that's just kind of how I've always done it. So if you were going to put this in here and we were going to let her go, as I said before, you know, you can roll it like this. You can grab that blank. You can get her started, kind of get her lined up. Now remember, folks, I am not a power wrapping professional, but we're going to see how this thing rolls. So we just trim her out there. And then from there, you kind of just make sure everything's lined up. Again, this hand wrapper is on, it's got bearings on it. And, whoops, that was just me not tightening it down. Cool. And then we can just kind of roll a longer, for those guys that like to do just long decorative wraps. Got the tension rod working, we're doing that. So, you know, you can come through and you can cover that whole thing, or if you're a tiger wrap person, or you can do things like that.
Long under wraps, saltwater rods.
Yeah, exactly. You know, stuff that I personally don't do, but you know, that's why that these systems are designed the way they are. Again, you know, this is not a system that you're going to buy one $80, you know, wrapping unit and then go, okay, well, I'm kind of over this thing. I don't really like the way that the wood looks, you know. Spilled some water on it, it swelled or something, I don't really know. But yeah, so now I've got this system that I've already got the HWS at the house. And then two, as we were wrapping, remember, we're wrapping, we make a mistake, we can back it up a little bit here, and then we can go back to it. So again, you know, we can't just switch gears and spin her back this way, but she's in neutral as soon as you back her off. So just back her off like that. And then it's all good. And then back it all off, and then we will give it a trim. Okay. Now, another one of my personal favorites, part of this deal, is we get in a position where, let's see if we can do this. Actually, just for the sheer space.
Scoot down a little bit.
Yeah. See if you can't scoot her. Or actually, why don't we just turn it around?
Okay.
We're going to spin it around, and the only reason we're spinning this around is because Mom didn't build a big enough basement. So. So anyway, the reason I'm doing this is because I've got just a finish rod that's an old rod here. We're going to put it in the jaws of life here. Tighten that down And you can see this rod has been used. Kind of looks abused to me. So what we're going to do is, the reason I like this is for a couple reasons. One, one, I can take fly grips that I've used, and I can just take either the whole rod, or I can just take the section in a 4-piece, or I can take, a casting rod like this, and we can actually take and spin it. And it's starting to get there, It'll clean up pretty nicely. It doesn't look like your buddy has left it out and abused it, It's just one of those deals like, you get a favorite rod of yours that it's got some good solid mojo on it. Maybe you don't want to completely throw it away, and you don't want to completely tear it up by re-gripping it. But you got some cork on here and you like the feel. Or, it gets a little nicked, it gets a little dinged. That actually looks pretty good, So for me, that's what I do with the fly grips a lot of the times, because I've got, a rod that I'm currently always using. I'm always giving to somebody. You're catching fish, you're handling fish, and it gets on there. And you can actually come in with either steel wool, or you can come in with some pretty high grit stuff. And you can take a little bit of that dirt and grime off of here without, making the grip a different shape, or completely shrinking it, or doing things like that, altering it in a way that you don't want it to be altered.
Right.
You just want it cleaned up.
Yeah.
So that's something that I really, really like. And I know some of the offshore guys we've been talking to, they're starting to use some cork, some larger OD cork for their foregrips.
Right.
And I think it's pretty cool. I've always been kind of a cork fan for some of my, or really all my saltwater stuff. So they can go through and they can do that.
Especially in saltwater, is going to be the first to show wear. EVA holds up pretty well over time.
For sure.
But cork, it's a natural material. It degrades over time. It shows its wear. But
yeah,
you can go in. There's multiple ways to go in and clean it up real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, one of the questions real quick. Bob asked, can you shape EVA blocks? And you absolutely can.
Yep.
Kind of works basically the same way you do a cork grip. Most of these EVA blocks either have a 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch ID. So get the appropriate size mandrel and shape it exactly the same way you would a cork grip.
Yep. So what we've got is, because we had so much stuff on the table here, we had limited space. We got the guys bringing in. We're going to show that EVA block. Probably got to slide this out a little bit. We're going to show that EVA block and an easy way to cut it. So,
real quick, Randy, regripping a rod, how do you do that? Something for another video. I believe we've actually touched on that in several other videos. And maybe if you can shoot us a message, we can probably find those past videos and send you a link to those Facebook Live episodes. It is actually very simple to do. Most of the time we usually do it with wind grips because they are typically the easiest to regrip with.
Yeah, they really are, because the wind grip is going to be something that has the EVA polymer or EVA underneath it, right? And when you've got the EVA underneath it, thank you, Taylor. Appreciate it, boys. When you've got the EVA underneath a grip like that, it allows you to fit that over a large outer diameter and then have her snug into position. So.
And of course, Win also sells a Win overwrap material, which is basically just the Win polymer itself, and it's on a roll. And you can actually regrip your rods that way too. So unless you want to replace the entire grips themselves, you can buy this Win overwrap tape. It's a lot quicker, easier to do. Just another option out there.
Yep, for sure. Now let me get these guys in here, get it adjusted, see if we can't get a piece cut. I can't remember what size this is.
I'll figure it out.
I've been on vacation.
Back to work.
Yeah, right? You got me there? You're spotting me?
Sure.
Hold me there.
Safety first.
Yep. Oh,
That's where the teamwork comes
atta
in.
boys. See, that thread is going through that grip. We get that? We want to do it again, Guff? It really makes for really nice, clean cuts. And, you know, doesn't matter, color fast, EVA, you know, any of that stuff. So you can go down this and, you know, stake her out. It allows for, you know, really, really good, clean cuts. And then, you know, of course, you can come in and you can cut like that too, but that'll also just show you, you know, a little bit more. So, what do we got? Justin coming in here. What's the trick to get old glued EVA off a rod blank? I'll take that one.
Go ahead.
So, if you've got a rod, we'll call this the rod. We're going to take a razor blade and we're going to go, I usually cut it at, so think of a clock. I usually cut it at 12, turn it 90, cut it at 3, cut it at 6, cut it at 9. So what I do is I run the full length of the grip all the way down. Or if you've got a really, really long grip, just come down and stop like that. Then what I'll do is I'll take a pair of pliers like this and I'll grab that EVA. You know, don't grab so far that you're grabbing the blank, but come in and grab that EVA. You know, a pair of pliers like a vice grip that almost has more like of a beak to it rather than, you know, more of a needle nose style like that. You can come in and grab it and then tear it like that. And, you know, if you cut it every 90 degrees, it tends to grab and peel better than if you were just to cut it like at 180 and just make 2 cuts. You know, so that all just depends on, you know, what we've got going on. So.
Will a tool rest be available later? Absolutely. We have several more additions to the RBS lineup, including, I guess I can go ahead and probably leak it now. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I don't even know what you're about to say.
There
so
might be a possible attachment for a dryer as well. You know, that's
really maybe even something for guides.
Possibly. But there will be a lot more. Stay tuned. We'll definitely. And of course, now we won't have a tool rest. We have the tool trays, the finishing tray.
Right. These guys right here. This is actually a cool thing. We need to show this because this is one of my favorite things here. So as we showed before, we're going to take an RDS and we're going to do the T-bolt and we're going to put her right here, right? And the great thing is, depending on how much room you've got and how long the rod is and things like that, you know, keep in mind this RBS-Pro Power Wrapper, this head here, gives you additional working space by what? Maybe 6 inches?
More than that, probably.
Okay.
Because most of the power wrappers out there are, they're pretty far out there, so it really limits, it cuts back on how much base
it really does. It's eating into the base. So this, one of the main key features of this is it gives you more room than, I mean, the other power heads on the market. I'm, you know, not going to mention, but this one gives you more room. Period. The end. Measure it out. It gives you more room. The great thing about that is, you know, you can come in, like I said, at the other end, or you can come in right behind it. You can take that RDS and just slide her in right here and T-bolt it, and then just, here we go again. We're going to slide this tray. It's got our ball bearing rollers on the bottom there. So we're going to take that and we're going to swing it around and slide it in. And it's got a brush holder. It's got a little, kind of a little carriage there to hold your alcohol burner, which is I'm a big fan of. And then also it's got your little foil tray here. So it's got a couple little deals there, and it's got some room here in the middle because, you know, everybody's constantly using, you know, maybe a Q-tip, or they're using a lint-free, you know, tack cloth, or they're using all kinds of different things, right? Or if you want a little, I sometimes will have a little mixing cup that's got some alcohol in it. So that's all right there, and that'll slide up and down, and you don't have to move these stands. So that, you know, that's a really, really good one. As the same with the tool tray that can hold your burnishing tools and your razor blades and that, because I know how when I wrap, when you're wrapping along and you're like, oh, like 3 guys from the end, and you're like, where is that? Oh, it's all the way down here. And I'm doing 9, 10-foot fly rods, and it's like I'm down here and I'm back here and whatever. I just take the tool tray and just send it.
That's your tape.
It just comes right down.
Perfect.
And it stays right there with me. So, and of course, that RDS, the original, the OG, is not the only one.
Yeah.
My personal favorite is going to be the one with the slip clutch in it. So I like, the what's the one? The DC RDS. That's the one that you can variable.
Speed.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the variable, and I know we got a lot of fans of the variable here. My personal favorite is the Chuck one.
Yeah.
Because I use a lot of regular nylon, and when I'm doing that and I don't use color preserver, you know me, not into that. Don't use color preserver, so I go through and I want to make sure that I don't have, a bubble in my finish that gets under the guide foot, because all of my guides are going to be, the thread wrap is going to be that kind of translucent deal. So I want to be able to stop it, make sure I get some finish on there, maybe even let it rotate around, put a little heat on it, and let her keep going, because, you get that little tunnel next to the guide foot, and then
especially like you said, translucent thread, it kind of all goes through, so you really want to make sure everything is clean and neat.
I agree. So all the dryers, they're all going to fit on this. So we're going to be able to put the triple, we're going to put the DC RDS, we're going to put the one with the clutch in it, and again, you come in and throw that CRB tent over the deal. I'm telling you.
The system.
We're thinking about stuff here. We call it a system for a reason, okay? Yeah, and it's all about you guys. Always has been. Yeah, exactly. So, what else?
There's got to be some more questions out there.
Yeah, somebody. I'm just trying to think. I mean, we got the epoxy mixer. Guess what? That T-bolts to this thing.
Fits it.
Got it. Spine finder, of course it does. So.
Yeah, the spine finder is actually a really good one that you hit on, because most of the time you're probably going to have this mounted to your table.
Right.
At least you don't have to, because like you mentioned, this unit is
it's
heavy enough. But
if I'm using that, I would, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing about this, because some people, where do I put it? Where do I mount it? Do I put it on a table? Like, what do I use? Do I use a clamp? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
If you use, the spine finder in conjunction with your RBS,
Yeah, you got a great base already.
you just slip it on there already. It's ready to go.
Yeah, and again, that's where those T's come in, is you can just put them down at the end, do kind of like a quick attachment, and then let it roll. So, we can. We didn't mention this. This is the new triple tape deal, and I'm going to slide this thing out, because you can do varying thicknesses of tape. It has a guard here that you can flip up or flip down. So I've got tape stuck to it, but you can flip it up and flip down, because it's probably the sharpest thing I've ever encountered on Earth. Those teeth, they're good. They're really, really good, and boy, will they get you. So we've got the guard there, and you can actually take this bad boy, and we're going to slide her in here. You can do that, slide her in. I'm actually going to slide this down a little bit. Oops. Oh, I got to turn it upside down. Right? That's just because we got it turned backwards so that people can see it. Gabby, can you see that at all, buddy? See, I'm just at the edge there that...
Yeah.
It's just, I got this stand in the way, but you can run some tape arbors off on this thing, and you can do it really, really quickly. Of course, you can also do it by hand as you move it down, but you can knock those tape arbors out really, really quickly for the guys that use tape arbors. You guys know I'm a tape arbor person, obviously if we had a blank here, I just had the mandrel, and of course the mandrel's limiting me to the space, but the tape arbors on this, all of these spin actually really, really well, better than you think. You can let it roll, and it's really, really good. So Yeah, that's another piece. What else you got?
I've got a question here.
Yep.
Let's see, guys, can we shoot that down just a little bit down the page? We get the top half of that.
Yeah. We're getting like the top of Tom's questions cut off there. Yeah, is that coming through? Asking something when I have a power wrapper question. We can't see that top question, boys.
Billy, can I get an extra track? If you're referring to the base, absolutely. We sell these bases, I believe 33-inch sections.
Yep.
They are sold separately. And
you can get them a kit, and then you can also, like
Yeah.
they said, you can also get them together.
yeah, there we go. Can we slide it down to just a little bit more?
Yeah. Somebody use the
Okay.
enter button.
So, Tom, I have a power wrapper / dryer. Will this be adapted to work with that system? If you're referring to an American Tackle, a Pack Bay power wrapper, no, it will not. But, oh, there you go.
You can really let it go.
Pretty fast.
I would need more supports that come out here, but yeah, I could run that whole thing off.
So, to answer your question, no, it will not, but we do have an adapter plate coming very soon, and so you can adapt the RBS Pro to your other power wrapper.
Really just want to run it.
Just do it, just...
Yeah, adapted to, that was the American Tackle one?
Yep.
Yeah. Gosh, what else do we have? Is that about it? You want to tell them about the giveaway again?
Yes, the giveaway. We are doing a giveaway, $140 value. RBS track with the included hand wrapper, the HWS.
Yep.
So that way down the line, if you do want to upgrade, get the RBS Pro.
Yep.
But for now, we're just doing the hand wrapper and the base. That'll
Yep.
get you started. That'll really enhance your rod building performance.
Yep.
But that's our biggest giveaway to date so far. So like and share this post, this live feed. Tag some friends. Like we said earlier, if you guys are here for the first couple minutes of the show,
Yeah, for sure.
that always gets you more brownie points.
Yeah, exactly. How about, who's been doing anybody been using the new Elite X's?
There's several guys out there. I've had a lot
Yeah.
of phone calls.
Yeah. Well, we've seen some pictures been coming in. That's always fun.
Great feedback so far.
Yeah, for sure. So, so when you're getting the tracks, the great thing about this is, again, we've got free shipping over $99. No oversized stuff. You know, because keep in mind, yeah, you get 8 foot of, track, but that's through across 3 of these pieces.
Right.
And of course, anything under 9 feet, no oversize.
Yeah.
So you're getting free shipping on this stuff. You know,
Can't
you
beat
buy one of these guys,
Free.
shipping. Buy one of these guys, or you get some of the new Elite X's, or some of the other ones. Even I'd probably throw a couple, colored wheel seats in there.
Oh.
Maybe some of those new. I really like. I don't, and I don't think that they get enough credit. The 7 foot 6-inch color blanks. It's almost like, I don't know if y'all know that they're out there. I mean, I know y'all know that they're out there, but I think sometimes that the old 7.6 doesn't get enough love.
It doesn't, because it was actually pretty much new.
Right.
We introduced a little bit. We had one, shipment that come in, the original black ones, but they kind of went pretty fast. But
Yeah.
they come out of the new color series, and they're definitely overlooked.
Yeah, and so here's another, with the 7.6, some guys are like, I don't really like a 7.6. How about you just cut 2 inches off of it? Now you got a 7.4.
Exactly.
Cut 3 off, got a 7.3. We could do this math all day. Well, no, not all day. Just in like 2-inch increments.
Yeah.
Other than that. But that's the thing, is those colored blanks, we got them in a 7. And then we've got them, now granted, we've got shorter ones, right? So the guys that, like a topwater rod or something, you're going to get one under 7 foot, but we can run it all the way up to 7.6, cut it, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, all that. I'll take Matthews, because it's me. It's me all day.
Got some experience on that one.
Matthew, I've never done my own grips, which is why it's pulling me towards the new wrapper. It's personally why I love this thing, because I don't power wrap, but I'm a grip guy. So how do you keep the cork from permanently sticking? All right, so the way that I do this is I use regular Pro Paste, okay? Not the quick stuff, okay? Not the 5 or 10 minute set, not the fast set stuff. I'm using regular Pro Paste, and so we're gonna imagine that this is going to be your cork ring, right? So we're going to mix it up, and then we're going to take just a little bit on our popsicle stick, and I'm going to take it and go around the outside here, trying to make sure that I don't get it right here in the center where you're actually going to slide that down onto the mandrel. So I'm going to go around the outside, kind of like a quick little scoop, and then you can actually turn it on its edge and scrape it out towards the edge here. Really, you don't want any buildup on the face of the cork. All you really need to do is it literally just looks like you took the cork ring and went boop and dipped it in water. It's all you want it to look like is it's just wet. That's it. So just take it, scrape it off, slide it down the mandrel. Now keep in mind, before we do this, we're going to wax the mandrel. We've got mandrel wax here. You want to make sure that, you know, when these mandrels are turned and they're cleaned and all that stuff, it'll leave residue and stuff on there. What I do before I would do anything is I would clean that mandrel. I would then take the mandrel and chuck it in this thing, and I would take and put a little bit of wax on, you know, you can use paper towel, you can use a microfiber cloth, and I would then turn it on this at a pretty good clip so that you're actually warming the mandrel and using the wax at the same time. And just a really, really light film on it, right? And you don't have to do the whole thing, obviously, because you're not going to use the whole mandrel. You can stop a little bit from end to end, right? Do that, let it sit on there, then take and turn the cloth over and crank it up again. Then wipe that mandrel clean, and then that's going to give you a layer of wax. And I always like to heat that mandrel a little bit, you know. So the friction and you run it up and down it like that, that's going to do it. So do that first, then make sure to take special care with the cork rings. As you slide them down, you're going to slide them down and stack them and stack them and stack them. Figure out how long you want your grips, right? Then what you're going to do is you're going to put it in a clamp. We've got a couple different kinds of clamps here. We've got the one that's got the wood plates on it with the the threaded rods, and then we also have the it's like PVC ends with some. Both of those are really good. You know, you really don't want to crank that cork down so much that you actually damage it or collapse it. So you got to be careful about that. So what we do is then squeeze it down. Make sure that you compress it a little bit because you want some of that glue to get out of in between the rings, and then I actually wipe it and then set it aside to dry, you know, while it's clamped in there. If you don't clamp it enough, you're going to then see glue lines. If you clamp it too much, you're going to damage it. But literally, it's not as hard as it sounds, you know. You're really not going to damage it. Just tighten it down. And if you use the one that's got all threads on either side, I actually measure the distance between the two plates. As the plates come together like this, you know, they come down like that and the cork's in the middle, I actually use a tape measure and measure the distance between both sides. Keep it level, because you can get it all kind of cattywampus there, and then it'll warp your cork grip, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Then take it and go directly to the mandrel, and you'll be able to then spin it, because it will stick to the mandrel a little bit, but it needs to stick to the mandrel a little bit. Otherwise, as soon as you touch that cork grip, the mandrel will spin inside the cork. And then actually what I do is to allow it to break free, I try to grab as much of the cork as I can and actually get right up here at the top the best I can, and then you can actually pop it on the ground. And when you do that, you know, on a really hard surface, again, that's not one of those things to do on your mother's dining room table.
Correct.
Do on the concrete, just hit it vertical like that, and it'll pop that grip right off. So, Tom Marks is asking a question here. We can't really see it because guys, the link's in it. So
I want to say it's probably, will you have the rod dimensions for, maybe it might be the Elite X blanks.
Just click somewhere else on that screen.
Link is in the comments.
I can't really hit
they are live
there
as today. Boom, got it.
Yeah, chart for the Elite X. All right, so we did get them live?
That's
or they will be.
Word on the street is they're live as of today.
Cool. Sorry, again, I was shooting a movie.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Josh, will the Power Wrapper work with ice rod blanks? Yes.
I mean, it will.
It definitely will. Now, some of those ice rod blanks are very small ODs, almost probably smaller than that mandrel. So you might have to build up either a tape arbor or some type on that rod blank itself.
Or you just put the handle on
or
first.
Put the butt grip on, and then you're good to go.
I would just be, I mean, I don't power wrap on fly rods. And that's for a reason, because you know, we could probably blow one up pretty quick. Just because there's a lot of power in this RBS Pro. You know, there's just very little material, and the ice rods and fly rods are really, really lightweight.
Yeah.
And I just...
Best thing is you can still hand wrap on this system.
Yeah, you could still hand wrap on this thing, you know, like this. Of course, if you want it to spin a little easier, you just slide that belt off, and you can do it like that. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to power wrap on the Power Wrapper, but you can. And I'm telling you, man, if you can power wrap on the tip of an ice blank, come on down. Let's see it. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, so we got the Elite X, one's there, we're doing that. We got the ice rod blank. Again, guys, the reason that we're showing you this, I know we didn't get heavy demos tonight, but we really need to make sure that you guys understand the time and effort that, you know, we here at Mudhole put into this. You know, the guys like Brooke and Tom and Todd and Greg and those guys that really, really, really did long, late nights trying to get this thing right. You know, we tested it, we abused it and beat on it and did all kinds of things to it. So they really did a good job on this one.
Absolutely.
And that's just one of those deals that you know, we want to make sure that you guys can see everything that's in that, because you know we can give, you know, descriptions and catalogs all day long, but we really want to make sure that you guys you know, that you guys saw this and can see that it's true potential. So really the whole thing behind this is, you know, being able to, that this system grows as you grow as a builder. So that's really what we want to drive this home. So that's really why we're doing it. But again, we're liking and sharing this post because Hunter is going to be giving some stuff away. He's going to go back there, he's going to be shopping, he's going to be throwing stuff in the boxes, and he's just going to be sending stuff out willy-nilly.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
I don't even know how we got our contract renewed. I'm surprised.
I don't know, man.
No idea.
I think it's the face.
I just go with the computer and hit a couple buttons.
It's the rugged good looks, right? Is that what it is?
We'll go with that.
So awesome. Well,
All
again,
right. One last question.
Are we doing
that? I see we still got some text in front of that question. If you guys could
can we hit the
move that off real quick?
Move it off or something. Yeah. Gilbert's asking, how do you
Gilbert, what does it say?
Something that has a grip on it to do a static testing, but won't fit in the spine finder. At that point, Gilbert, I got to tell you, that if you got a blank that big or you got a grip that won't go in there, I would probably just incorporate kind of a buddy system, you know, or I'm going to be flexing it on the floor. You know, 99% of the blanks that I find the spine on, and I do it on all of them. But the ones I do, I'm putting on a tabletop or I'm going to, you know, put on the floor. And I got to think that if it's got a OD on a grip, I don't know what the OD in that spine finder is, but it's a good one. So if it's bigger than that, I'm probably going to have to take it and I'm going to have to put some pressure on it. So if that's the case, I'm more than likely going to be doing it on the floor anyway, just because of the sheer force that I'm going to be exerting on that. So I think Ricky's trying to win it. I think that's what he's doing. Really appreciate
Big
all
brownie
the
points, Ricky.
All Mudhole does to bring out the live videos. You know, I will say, like, we do some work back here, but between Nick and Guffey, Taylor,
what you guys don't see behind
Hoffma,
the camera is
they do a lot more
4
work.
or 5 other guys that are doing questions
work.
and links and
That's
comments and video and.
There's a lot going on. I mean, they just put us in the green room, put a little makeup on us, and just kick us out in front of the camera, you know? So, yeah, there's a lot of work.
Are they coming back for season 2 and 3 and 4?
For sure. Well, we made sure that we put them in the contract. You know, it's like when you get a good running back that goes out and buys the whole offensive lineman Rolexes or something. You got to keep the boys. You got to keep the team.
You hear that?
Got to keep it. Got to keep it. So, Michael's got any recommendations on? Somebody move that cursor. Any swim bait blanks? I got a couple. The SWB 956, Michael. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
A-rigs, stuff up to like 1 and some change. You know, 1 ounce and some change. You can throw kind of like, what's that? It's that big swim bait that I throw. But I'm not going to tell you. No, it's, you know, some of those hard swim baits, you know, the ones that the guys throw out in California and stuff, not the really, really big ones, but the ones up to like 3 ounces and stuff. You know, 2.5 ounces, things like that. You can get away on the SWB 956. That's the 711.
Yeah.
So that's the big one. If you want one a little bit shorter that you can still throw something pretty big on, you know, 1.5 or maybe even 2 ounces, I would do that 885, the FP 885, because it's a little moderate, but it's got a lot to it. That's a really good swim bait blank, especially if you're throwing something that's heavier, but you want to throw it around. You know, you're not just like rearing back and letting her rip.
Right.
So that we are working on some heavy swim bait blanks, like ones like to a 6 ounce deal. That's taking a whole nother deal. So you know, I'm a swim bait guy. You know, I like the ones that they run up on the surface because I like to see them hit on the surface.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an MB 874 guy. I like that one. I like that one and the new Nano X, the Elite X.
Well, that one throws top wires pretty good too.
It really does. I mean, not the 874. That's too long.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like if I'm throwing like a spook or something, I'm throwing like a 610.
Yeah, a little bit shorter.
Maybe a 7-footer. MB 843. That one's the deal for sure. So. Anyway, that's the swim bait blanks, a couple of those. That's what I would do. They also double as an A-rig blank, but we don't throw that as much. I think that is about it.
That's going to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think they're about to call us off set.
Yeah.
This was a good one, though.
It was a good one.
This was a really good one. We appreciate you guys as always. We appreciate all the questions. Again, we'll get Taylor and Guffey and Hoffman. Maybe we'll all huddle up and we'll pick the winner. And we'll send you some cool stuff and maybe even a chicken dinner. I don't know, maybe. But
speaking of dinner, we gotta go.
Mom's got to get that meatloaf ready. Golly.
And hot
Or is it Hot Pockets tonight?
I mean, whatever.
Tuesday night, Hot Pocket night. All right. Again, like and share this. We'll get you in it. We appreciate you guys and girls watching as always. And not next Tuesday, but the following. We'll be back.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.